So the more I think about this brawl that went down in Cincinnati last weekend, the more upset I get. If that would have just been two black dudes and, a big old black brawl, that would have just been another video on Twitter to prove a black fatigue narrative. It was a white dude and a black dude. So, of course, there's an entirely different narrative they can spin right there.
Check this picture out. There's the still shot of Goonie Two-Time getting slapped. Okay? Now, pack that up. Now I'm going to show you, here comes the brawl that happens after the slap. Check it out.
Before we even get into this clip, I need you to hear me out, because the way this whole story has been told in the media is straight up misleading. They're making it seem like a bunch of black folks just jumped some random white guy out of nowhere in Cincinnati. That's not what happened. And when you see the real footage, you're gonna understand why people are upset. This wasn't some random attack. This all started when a man, and let's be clear, he's not even American, he's Russian, walked right up to a young black man and slapped him across the face. Yeah, slapped him. And you already know, that's not something you just let slide. But here's the thing, the news left that part out. They didn't show you the beginning. They didn't show you what sparked everything. They just showed you the part that makes us look bad, without any context. So before you judge, before you decide what you think happened, watch this. Watch the whole thing. And remember, there's always more to the story than what they put on the news.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so I'm sure most of you remember the case that happened in Cincinnati, Ohio, where a white man attacked a black man and he had other fellow black men who ended up defending their friend, right? So this case has been going particularly viral because an arrest was made and the black guys were arrested. But the funny thing is that the white man who started all of this was not arrested, yeah? So in today's episode, you're going to hear what black Americans have to say about this, also some white Americans, and we are also going to hear from the woman who went viral, who apparently was the guy's partner and ended up being caught in between, right?
Right, and the biggest question you're asking today is, do you think the right course of action for the black group of friends, was it correct or was it not correct? If so, why do you think so? And if not, why do you also think so? So let us know in the comment section, and also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Let's watch.
Black people, listen up. They're looking for the next face for white violence. They're looking for the next face for white violence. Historically, whenever there has been a massacre, an expulsion, an attack on black Americans, they needed a poster child for it. The Dr. Carmelo Anthony case was going to be a hit. And then on top of that, Austin's father did not want to engage in the racism, essentially. He started to see how many racist people were floating towards him, and he did not like it, and he backed off from it. Now with the situation with the Cincinnati Brawl, the woman that got hit, they're looking to make her the face for white violence. Black people in large scale did not go and protest and engage in fighting and engage in these situations. They need black people to engage. First, they had to rebrand racism and kind of market it to the youth, because they will be the ones to carry it on. So where you get these streamers, these Instagram influencers, these TikTok influencers all engaging in racist behavior. And now that they rebranded racism, they need to rebrand white violence. Understand that history in America only simply repeats itself because people refuse to learn. So when they engaged in white violence back in the days, pretty much, it wasn't simply to physically hurt black Americans, but it was to financially keep black Americans in poverty so that they have something to stand upon. There are 2 million, almost 2 million black millionaires in America right now. So black people are slowly getting their way out of poverty, and they cannot have that.
I seen that Cincinnati Brawl. Let me just say this. I did see the white man swing on the black man first, but me, how I feel like it should have been a one-on-one. I feel like it should have been a one-on-one. I know the white man swung first, but everybody was in everybody's face. That was a little slap like, bring it on. You feel me? I'm pretty sure if dude would have known that all them black men that was out there, all them black folk that was out there was going to move in on him like that, he wouldn't even swung. To me, in my eyes, that was like one of them, come on. Come on out here. Slap up. Follow me out here. Or, slap. Now you throw your punch back. It is what it is. I ain't complaining. I'm just saying. I felt like they should have went one-on-one. What really got me was that, how y'all knock his woman out, gang? That's crazy as hell. Y'all knocked his woman out. For what, though? She doing what any other woman would do in a situation like that. Girlfriend or wife. She wasn't even jumping in trying to help her man being violent. She was just screaming, being hysterical, trying to get everybody off her man.
So the more I think about this brawl that went down in Cincinnati last weekend, the more upset I get. If that would have just been two black dudes and, a big old black brawl, that would have just been another video on Twitter to prove a black fatigue narrative. It was a white dude and a black dude. So, of course, there's an entirely different narrative they can spin right there. I think we need to call for the resignation of Cincinnati Police Chief. Her racism is showing. When you charge 5 of the black people that were involved, but you don't charge the one white dude, when there is clear video that he had every intention on fighting those people, and he smacked that dude first. Now, I firmly believe that if he'd have just went out and cold cut punched that dude, it would have been a one-on-one fight. But when you smack someone in that manner, that's essentially saying, you're my bitch. It's a different level of disrespect. And that is the smack that was heard across the nation. I don't understand why we are not charging that Russian. He instigated this fight. He clearly had the chance to walk away. I posted plenty of videos showing you guys that. But he decided to square up and play AT&T and reach out and touch someone.
Meet Holly. Holly is one of the survivors from the brutal attack that occurred in Cincinnati, Ohio, after the city's Jazz Fest. She's been in hiding ever since the attack occurred until now. Take a listen to what she had to say, then we'll talk about it.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for all of the love and support. It is very humbling that you have sent your prayers, your blessings. It's definitely what's keeping me going. And you have just brought back faith and humanity. So God bless you all, and thank you. I appreciate everything that you're doing for me and my family. It's been very, very hard, and I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma. And it's, thank you, everyone.
Now, that heartbreaking video of the attack is posted all over social media. I'm obviously not going to post it here, but it's really hard to watch, especially when you have grown men attacking a female like this. The good news is she's recovering, and she's got tons of community support right now. Her Give, Send, Go account has already raised over $200,000. Many of the assailants have already been arrested, some still behind bars, but there's community outrage because a few of them have already been released. My thoughts go out to Holly, all the victims, and their families who had to watch their loved ones get brutally attacked.
As we see more evidence start to come out about the Cincinnati Brawl, and we see the truth coming out that some Russian who's not even born on this soil, from the information I'm getting, and if I'm wrong, I'll retract it and I'll admit when I'm wrong, but some Russian that wasn't even born on this soil comes out of a nightclub overserved, talking about he wants to fight blacks, fight niggas, he wants to fight niggers, hard R, he's looking for a fight. If you hear in the video, you got what you wanted, so here's the thing. If the truth comes out and you're still taking the side of this white Russian immigrant who wasn't born on this soil, opposed to taking the side of black people whose families, I don't even got to go through what we've been through on this country. Just because this Russian immigrant is white, you're going to take his side over black people who he came looking for a fight for. He came out the club looking for the fight. He came outside. If it wasn't the guy if it wasn't for them, he was going to find the fight. Clubs let out at 2:30. This was 3 o'clock in the morning. He came out of there looking for trouble.
It never surprised me that y'all want to be a victim so bad. You understand what I'm saying? It was a hate crime. No, it wasn't. All that man had to do was not put his hand on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to excuse actions, but the actions was what it was. He felt like he didn't have to follow the rules, and he felt like he was able to put his hand on somebody, alcohol or not, and he got his ass whooped. That is the consequences. The actions have consequences. Don't y'all say that? If you don't follow the rule, what you do? You go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't follow the rules. He got his ass beat, and he should be going to jail if he didn't already go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? I don't see what the issue is. Hate crime, no, I don't think it was a hate crime. I think that he just didn't realize how tight, that crew was. You understand what I'm saying? That wasn't a mob. That was a crew that was angry because you felt like you're going to put your hand on somebody that they know. That's what family do, right? That's what family do, stick together. And that's what y'all say the black community don't know how to do is stick together. Well, guess what? They just stuck together, and I'm tired of hearing y'all cry all over this internet. You know what I'm saying? That police chief, you did good or whatever the case may be. And J.D. Vance know what the fuck he be talking about. His head so far up, goddamn Donald Trump ass, it don't make no damn sense. I know he smelled what he had for dinner. You understand?
That white dude slapped that black man first. If you watch the video in slow-mo on TikTok, you will see the white dude in the white shirt lifted up his left hand and slapped the black dude in the red shirt. And then the black man in the white shirt stole off on a white man that's in the white shirt. And then things escalated from there. The way the news in Cincinnati going around trying to insinuate that was a hate crime and that those black people was over there messing with those white people, they need to be sued. Then the black people end up going to jail. The white lady who fell on the ground, she also got hit by another white person. That was not a hate crime. From my personal opinion, I believe that both of the people were drunk and things escalated from there. I do not believe those black men went over there and just dry messing with them. I do not believe that. I don't believe that. And I don't even know those people. Not even from Cincinnati, never been out there. I know they ain't go over there messing with those white people for no reason.
The biggest thing that I think really upsets me is the desensitization of humans, where there's a brutal attack, attempted murder in front of you, and they all think, oh, cool, let me get my phone and record it. I truly hope that in the future there's some sort of bill to where somebody has to be prosecuted or at least fined if they don't call 911 first to save someone's life. I have felt hopeless for the future of my children, what kind of world they're going to grow up in, because it has just gotten, worse and worse.
We have a guiding principle, 2 beautiful words, common sense. If you commit a crime and you're punished for it, you will commit less crimes, and the punishment has to fit the crime. This is a life sentence for her. And anybody who has a mom in their life, a wife in their life, a daughter in their life knows that there's no recovery from that. Every single day for the rest of her life, she's going to have to live through this. And yet the person who does it gets away with, oh, you're a bad guy, and if you give us $400, we'll put you in some sort of community service program. No. That person should suffer just as much as she's going to suffer for the rest of her life.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos you just played on the comment section, yeah?
Right.
I feel like for that Russian guy, okay, the fact that he's not even American, yeah? He's a Russian, you ask yourself, where did he get all this hatred for black Americans here? Why exactly does he have that animosity towards black Americans here?
But I do feel like if you've stepped foot in America and you've lived amongst the society of America,
right,
you usually tend to fall on one side of the scale, either the black side, the white side, or any other person of color scale, depending on what kind of person you are, with the skin color, of course, especially if you tend to fall into the matrix of these are racism issues, you get.
But I feel like you really, for a grown person, you can't even have an excuse, or you can't blame the environment you're in. As a grown person,
you should just conduct yourself well,
accordingly, and it's upon you to act right towards other people. And I must say that was a well-deserved, that was a well-deserved beating he got right there,
Personally, I don't support violence of any kind, although I do understand that this earth is filled with so many different types of human beings, and we are a lot in this planet. And it's not guaranteed that if you have a misunderstanding with me, I will behave the exact same way Maren will behave if you have a misunderstanding with her, right? For me, I might choose to walk away or to press charges. For Maren, she might choose to square it up right there and then, right? And this is where I say, for the Russian guy, he got what he deserved. But where the group went wrong was when they attacked the woman he was with.
Although I wouldn't even also blame them, because when you're in a heated moment, you kind of just go out of a reaction instead of, processing what's going on. You just go off on the reaction.
Still, it wasn't right. Them attacking the woman.
Yeah, it wasn't right.
It wasn't right.
Yeah,
and I wish the woman could have also just removed herself from the situation. Like,
where
you see
men are fighting, as a woman, you don't even step there, because
you don't even stand there.
Obviously, one knock from a man is gonna knock you out, and she has trended. Yeah, she has trended for that reason. She's really gone viral because of what happened to her. She was like, she passed out on the floor. I'm not nothing to laugh there, but all I'm saying is,
I wish she could have removed herself, because these people were already fuming with emotions. All of them, the white versus the black people,
right? Something that her husband was responsible for.
Rightfully so.
In what world do you think it's okay for you to go and step up to another man and go to the extent where you're putting your hands on another man,
Right, when it is women versus women, it's kind of different, because have you ever heard
women
of
are high on emotion?
Yes, have you ever heard of a biatch slap? It is more common amongst women than it is amongst men. So when you find a man beating a fellow man, of course, this
slapping another man,
this is the kind of reaction you get. You will be dragged through that floor. And
he got what he deserved, and I know for sure he's not gonna try this again next time, unless he's that dumb.
Yeah, next time you're not just gonna be seeing another skinny dude and you assume you can take them just because your chest is puffed. They will mop the floor with you. Anyway, that being said, I really, really wish that this lady gets a quick recovery, but there's also another issue we have to talk about.
People need to be held accountable for their actions,
Yeah, it's why I said there's also another issue we have to talk about, because online on TikTok, people were raged because, of course, you do understand arrests had to be made, because at the end of the day, this kind of behavior is not acceptable, and streets should be safe for everybody, right? But if you're going to go forward with arresting people, why only arrest the black people who are defending themselves and not arrest the main perpetrator who started the whole situation?
Yeah, if there's any example that had to be set, they should have picked up that white man first. If all of them needed to be arrested, they should have started with the white man, and then this other
trickled down to the
others
people
who participated. But the black man should have been the poster child, because he was the white guy. He was the one who raised his hand first with all the intentions to do whatever he wanted to do. Only that it backfired.
Right, and most of you, just like I, and I'm also sure Maren, most of you are asking, for this white man to raise his hand and smack that black man, what did the black man do? To which I say, again, and this is where I will emphasize, because I live by these principles, it doesn't matter what someone says verbally to you. If you can walk away from the situation, walk away without starting physical violence, because it's very different if you're the one who starts the physical violence first. You just raise your hand and smack a whole grown man or woman,
that is
never do that.
That is where they say, before you take an action, be sure you can see it to the end. Yeah,
not even that. Think of the repercussions.
No, I'm just saying, be sure you can take it to the end. Not that you start something and then you lose that game and then you go out crying, because now the wife is out here on the internet crying like it was like her husband was the victim, like she was the victim, and they are perfect angels that didn't do anything.
You look like you can act like these black men, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, if I have the strength, I'm not saying I don't know if I have the strength, because I've never fought anybody anybody, but seriously, like, we are all humans. You cannot
Right, I get it, I
expect
do.
not to react if somebody does something to you. People react differently, as you said, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and there are people who don't turn the left cheek when you get there, when someone gets their right cheek, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just this type of situation. If you need to speak somebody's language for respect to reign, then speak the language the best understand. That's all I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like, guys, you've seen, I think that is where some of our differences come in, right? You say when someone
Get your right cheek, you don't turn the left for them to get it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, so for me, I feel like personally, if it is just a verbal, you know, disagreement, also
I'll be all for it.
I'm gonna be all for it. But when it comes time to smacking, I would never raise my hand to throw the first punch. But most definitely, if you throw the first punch at me, I will be forced to defend myself because I know I have a crew here.
Of course, we are a full team, and
but I would never dare if I'm alone unless I know how to defend myself.
Men. If it's okay, guys, we are not encouraging violence. Let's just leave it at that, yeah. And then okay, another aspect of this.
I repeat, do
not try that at home. Another aspect of that we should talk about is how the news outlets portray the situation.
Right, right.
That's a very important aspect to look at.
Right, and historically, this is how news usually reports on such cases, because before the real video started trending before the brawl, what happened before the brawl, people thought that the white group was jumped for nothing. They were attacked for nothing. So people kept asking, what kind of uncouth behavior is this? Like, why would you just start jumping people on the street? Until the real clip came out where they
showed the guy swinging fast.
Yeah, where the clip showed the Russian swinging and biatch slapping that man.
And I have to say, to be honest, the man is also responsible for how his wife ended up.
Yeah,
and
it's not only the black group, by the way, it's also
man
the man,
is 100%
the white guy.
You know why? As a man, if you have your family there, be it your wife alone or your wife and kids, your first priority is to make sure they are protected, they are safe,
Right.
So you don't go out, especially in clubs or bars or whatever,
looking for trouble.
And you know very well your wife follows you around like anyway, it's your responsibility to make sure they are safe. Meaning, if you detect any sign of danger or
aggression or trouble,
you
look
get
the other way and walk.
Let people see you as a coward. But this one, he intentionally walked towards this man and started the whole thing. Let's make sure that we understand that this black man did not look for the trouble of this white man.
But we still don't know that yet, because we just know from where they're having a disagreement and then he slaps that man, and that is why also again I said we don't know what kind of verbal exchange they had in order for him to come to physical altercation with this man, to which I also say never ever raise your hand to another person, because why
it's not gonna, how do you think it's gonna end up?
And it's not gonna it's not gonna solve anything, if you have been defeated by word of mouth, just kindly pick your dignity and go. It's still a win because you go home safe.
Right. Be sure if you start a physical thing, be sure one of them is gonna be left standing, and the other is gonna be left knocked out on the ground, and that is what happened.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Personally, I do feel like all this physical altercation should not have happened in the first place. But as I said again, human beings are so many on this earth, and each and every one of us cannot respond to a situation the exact same way, So yeah.
Guys, remember to subscribe if it's your first time here. Also, let us know what you think about this episode, and we'll see you on our next episode, road to 200,000 subscribers. And also remember to turn on your notification bell if you haven't, right?
Yeah.
So that you don't miss any of our episodes, right? Yeah. See you next time.